We're back again. Another set of analysis and as you remember, we have to have all of that conversation for you. And in the last bare 30 minutes, there have been an update on the Victor Osimhen conversation. There have been an update on the Victor Osimhen conversation. There have been an update on Chelsea players not talking about what they want to do, what they would love to do. Pedro Neto, I guess, has been speaking about the players that he's excited to play with our Chelsea. He's speaking about how his football journey has been. He has been speaking about a couple of things as well. But then the real thing, and he said, let me start with this Super Cup game of Real Madrid and Atalanta, about how much of an exciting game that was. What is the idea? What idea does it give you? Again, hi Fiifi-Manfred over YouTube. So subscribe to the channel. Now subscribe to the channel and turn on notification. And you're very, very, very imperative. So subscribe to the channel now. Turning on notification. Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. We are waiting for you. Turn on notification. Subscribe to the channel. We want to hear from you also. Wherever that you are on the African continent and in the world, we want to hear from you. Just a while ago, we said a big thank you to be our subscriber to Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. I will share content and you need to share the link and then make sure so you let every other person enjoy the conversation. So a big game, Real Madrid versus team, my friend Atalanta. I mean, see, going into that game, I think that Madrid had certain problems. There were three of them. The first problem, Madrid ever. The absence of Toni Kroos, right? Everybody was asking, how am Madrid going to control games without Toni Kroos when they are playing against a certain Atalanta side that has a very good man-to-man press? Again, if you look at the middle of the park, the likes of Martin De Roon and Tim Kopmieni, as if he is there, are very, very difficult for you to mark. How are Madrid going to do the job of dealing with these players and controlling the game without Toni Kroos? How was it going to be like? And the second question, they say, how is the front three of Madrid going to look like? Rodrigo, Vinicius Jr., Kylian Mbappe, saying about who is going to be where, who is going to be in which zone. And I remember saying, Carlo Ancelotti spoke to John Mikel Obi, the Obi-Wan podcast, and he was clear with him, and he said for him, he sees the width of the pitch not to be wide enough for a lot of rotations. And I think that today, that was the first job. But then we'll get into the proper tactical analysis of the game. But then these are the first two questions that everybody asks of Madrid. How are they going to do this job? It's supposed to be the last Super Cup final of the last model, or the last Champions League model round. That's what it was going to be. Of course, the first trophy for Kylian Mbappe, the sixth time, and Real Madrid winning that trophy, one more time than Barcelona and one more time than AC Milan. Of course, the quality of Real Madrid did come on show. But how was this done? How did Madrid for ASL Jumawe? And I think that first of all, we need to start by looking at the starting lineups. Two teams no edible game. How did Madrid line up? How did team my friend Atlanta line up? If you've forgotten, Atlanta is a very, very solid side. Gian Piero Gasperini, one of the best coaches in Italian Serie A, very good man for man press. Last season, he went to Anfield and share Liverpool by 3 goals to nothing. And then it was a very, very good tactical setup in there. Of course, he is Italian, just like Carlo Ancelotti. Of course, Ancelotti has a better Real Madrid side than Papa Efreno Gasperini. But then again, how did this thing happen? Madrid went into the game with Thibaut Courtois returning full time from injury, not imposed. Dani Carvajal, Eder Militao, Antonio Rudiger. Dani Carvajal also, Antonio Rudiger. No, Eder Militao last season also was injured. This time still fully back for team and friend Real Madrid. Philip Mendy at the other side at left back home team. Federico Valverde and Chimeni as the base of the two. And 4-2-3-1, and then Rodrigo, Vinicius, Jude Bellingham as a number 10. Rodrigo goes on the right hand side, Vinicius Jr. on the left hand side, then Abrante friend Kylian Mbappe on the left hand side, up top in there. Of course, Atalanta for lining up in a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3 variation of that, and it was Said Kolasinac and on board the left hand side of the center back, hand and an elbow at CCB, then Jim City at the right center back. In the middle of the park was Ruggeri, Ederson, De Roon, Davide Zappacosta. There was Matthias Pasalic right in front of them. Then up top is Ademola Lookman and Charles de Catalare. Charles de Catalare last season was at AC Milan, but he has proven to be very, very good for Atalanta, and this season they've kept him on his team. I think that in the first few openings of the game, Atalanta did dominate the game, and it was because of a man-for-man press. They had a very good man-for-man press. Now Madrid tried some more body from the back, and they were right in the faces of Madrid. They were very aggressive. They wanted to win the second balls. They didn't want to sit back at all. They made it very difficult for Madrid to build up using Thibaut Courtois, and they had their moment. And this is something that you can about Real Madrid for a very long time. So only in a game now we have a moment. Now so you don't take those opportunities. Now allow Madrid to go into the game and you allow them to get better than you are. When the opportunities come, they do take them. They have the best forward men in there, and then they do hurt you. And for me, that's what happened. Atlanta were in the faces of Real Madrid. They were winning the 50-50 balls, and that's what happens in when you use the man-for-man press. Man-for-man press, let's just say, will be for one man, and when will be for one man, the aggressive nature of the team, you go into battles, you reduce the game into 1v1, into just battles, and say team needs to be winning the battles that gives them an advantage, and that's what Atalanta were trying to do with that man-to-man press in there. That's why they were winning all of the 50-50 balls in the opening numbers of the game. That's why it was difficult for Madrid to get a foothold of the game. I know some people were talking about the absence of Toni Kroos being having affected the Real Madrid. And the absence of a total controller, a deep line playmaker, Toni Kroos definitely is going to affect Real Madrid. But I think that you only understate how difficult it was for Madrid if you make it only about Toni Kroos. It's also about the structure of Atalanta and how they made it difficult for Madrid to control the game or even get into it with their man-to-man press. And they were always in the faces of Real Madrid. They were always in their faces. And now, even a breathing space to play well. But Ancelotti did something mid-game. Now, let me say it's something that he probably had prepared for it. And it's something that he would have to do in preparation for life post Toni Kroos. And one of the things that he did, and he said Real Madrid will be there for the Barca. He allowed Abrante and Antonio Rudiger to leave the back line, to leave the first phase, to leave the two centre backs, maybe being on any other Militao, for Antonio Rudiger to drop into the middle of the park. So it means that at that point in time, Ademola Lookman consistently didn't have anybody to press after, because his man, who is Antonio Rudiger, has dropped into the middle of the park. If he follows him to the middle of the park, it means that essentially it is not a man-to-man press again. There is space for Abrante and Courtois to carry the ball deep and then find a good pass, or it is even more space for even the other Real Madrid players like Militao to pick the ball. Now, one thing that happened was that Antonio Rudiger wasn't only coming centrally, not on dropping Fiifi-Manfred. He sometimes would open up and then go and then push Abrante Carvajal up as a winger. Now, what this essentially opened up spaces in the middle of the park for Real Madrid. Into whom several times you will see, say, Mbappe will drop centrally into the middle of the park to come and pick up the ball. The Vinicius Junior sometimes will also drop and pick up the ball there, and that is how Real Madrid were able to go around team and friend Atalanta on a man-for-man press. Now they started in the first half against Real Madrid. In the end, when Madrid really had a foothold and then did this, now the game became more transitional. Atlanta could not control the game. They didn't have the controller and team Cope Mianes in the middle of the park to control the game essentially. Almost Real Madrid, so they were not interested in controlling the game. And one of the plans for post Abrante and Toni Kroos is to be more transitional. So what Madrid essentially did, and he said consistently there were a lot of rotations in their front three, and they will go direct. They use the pace of star players when as a Vinicius up on the left. They will play the ball into the channel for him, isolate players 1v1, he will go into it. But there was an extra job from the midfielders and Abrante and Jude Bellingham. They are supposed to make consistent and occasional runs into the box to attack the spaces left at the edge of the box and in the 18-yard box, because almost a box presence, because almost every time the attackers are consistently rotating. Yes, sometimes Mbappe will be there, but they will not be that consistent in those areas. And it is seeing that happen. And one of the things that has been very clear, the consistent rotations of the front three of team and friend Real Madrid against Atlanta. It means that only Real Madrid but this season, you need to be prepared and willing to hold on to the ball for as long as possible, to keep the ball as long as possible, to control the ball as long as possible, to make sure, say, you suffocate Madrid from getting the ball. If you're able to do that, then it hurts you. But I saw something. So how Abrante and Vinicius Junior popped up on the left-hand side, picked that ball, patient enough, drew players onto himself, and then slotted the ball, of course, because of the late runs of Abrantia, your friend Federico Valverde, getting onto the 6 yards box and then slotting it in. That is the quality of Abrantia, friend Vinicius Junior. And I've said it several times. For me, he is my winner of the Ballon d'Or this season. He has been absolute quality on the ball. And you see, so Osha's moment of how Vinicius Junior set up Federico Valverde. The key isn't in Vinicius using the space. Everybody knows about that. The key isn't in Vinicius' dribbling ability. Everybody knows about that. The key isn't in Vinicius attracting players to himself. Everybody knows about that. It is something that we call the La Pausa, or the slight pause. When you are born, and at the second defender, Neto from. That is the cognitive ability that you're supposed to have. So the highest level player. Smartness, the intelligence to understand that this is possibly going to happen. So you pause, you are patient, you wait a little bit, and then it's opening a down, you slot the ball in. That is what Abrantia and Vinicius Junior gives you. He was all good in the first half. Second half also quality, set up that goal for Abrantia, your friend Federico Valverde. And of course, in the second one there, was a very good one. And see, everybody will talk about Kylian Mbappe scoring his 331st goal of his club career, of his career, and the first one of his Real Madrid career. But to be honest with you, that goal was made by Abrantia friend Rodrigo Goes. See, going forward, I am very certain that Rodrigo Goes is going to be the unsung hero of that Real Madrid team. He's going to be the unsung hero. People will mention Mbappe, people will mention Abrantia friend Vinicius Junior, and Kofobe Dinkomo about Jude Bellingham. But for me, the most important player sometimes in certain parts of the game, certain moments of the game, is on Abrantia, your friend Rodrigo Goes. Look at how he pressed him in that zone. And Madrid in the second half had an unpredictability in their press. Sometimes they will sit a little bit, they will drop off a little bit. Sometimes they will press high. And I think that the press trigger was there for Abrantia friend Rodrigo Goes to sniff and then go after it. So he sniffed that press trigger. It was a bad control from Abrantia, your friend hand. Once that control came in, he pressed aggressively. Oh, we need Bono. Then he transited, found Abrantia friend Vinicius Junior, who had already running the spaces. Vinicius wanted to cut across the ball to Kylian Mbappe, but Mbappe didn't get there. Call Jude Bellingham slotted it back, and then the rest is history. Kylian Mbappe, and you're the first goal for Real Madrid. When you're the first goal for Real Madrid, and that is quality from team and friend Real Madrid. And that is quality from Kylian Mbappe as well. And for me, the rotations of Real Madrid team, how it's going to be difficult for defenders to pick them up. How it's going to be difficult with that transitional threat of the pace, any of the other form of players. It's always going to be tough for anybody to deal with Real Madrid this season. But hey, that is quality. That is real quality from Real Madrid, and they've done some very, very good job in there. So kudos to Real Madrid. Congratulations to them on winning that trophy. Of course, Pedro Neto, like I was telling you, was talking. I say he's happy, he's excited. He wants to play with Conor Gallagher. He wants to play with Cole Palmer. Last season, Cole Palmer, for him, had a brilliant season, and then he wants to play with Cole Palmer. He said same for Enzo Fernandez as well. He's looking forward to playing with Enzo Fernandez and the whole team, because I believe he said the whole team is quality in the team. There have been an update on Victor Osimhen and Lukaku in Saint-Semen. The truth is that DiMaggio is reporting in the last few minutes said Chelsea are close to say they are going to lower the asking price for Romelu Lukaku. And mind you, once Lukaku to Napoli is getting done, it means that Osimhen to Chelsea is also getting done. Any front three of Cole Palmer, Nkunku, Pedro Neto definitely is going to create a lot of chances for a centre forward. And it looks as if Chelsea are willing to reduce the price of him. I think that because of that, the conversation and negotiation for João Felix to Chelsea will stall a little bit. Chelsea will assess those options first before they do a deal for Abrantia and João Felix to see if he's going to come in or not. But as it stands now, Chelsea are getting the man that's called Victor Osimhen. And I know that as it goes on, updates will be coming. So stick and stay. I always tell you, hi, Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. So I'm subscribing to the channel now. It's imperative. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notification. In the notification turn, do choose all. Share the link, and thank you very much. So if you've been sharing and share the link, let me hear from you in the comment section whatever you think about this channel here on YouTube. Thank you very much. Talk to you. Bye.